patrons, and welcome to the exotic location of my laundry room. We are at the sink I use to clean my brushes, and as you can see, I dumped my paint water. I did clean the sink before I made this video, but paint does stain, so I have a dedicated station to where I like to clean things in my hobby space. It makes it much easier. In this video, this is kind of something I've wanted to talk to people about, is cleaning your brush. So I just did a video where my brush was on the fritz and it didn't want to hold a point. So let me zoom in here, and I've got a couple of brushes. As you can see, this one is Seen Better Days, but it's the brush I used to prime. But I wanted to kind of have a dirtier brush. This is a large brush, but again, I wanted to show you the idea behind how I clean my brushes and the way that I clean them to get the paint out. I've mentioned this to people in my classes, that this is something you want to think about and you want to do. You want to clean your brushes because it prolongs the life of those brushes. And since our paintbrushes are so expensive, washing them helps you get a couple more miniatures out of them. It sometimes can restore brushes that are beat up like this one or don't want to hold a point to sometimes like new. So I wanted to demonstrate, and to demonstrate I have the Slow Fuse Gaming brush soap, the Unicorn, the Drunken brush soap here. This stuff's awesome. So unlike some other cakes of soap, this soap is slightly, it's kind of, I can push on it and it's not hard right off the bat. It's kind of got an oiliness to it. I don't have to work to lather it up very much. And that's one of the other things to think about when you're cleaning your brush, is lathering it and the lather you get on the brush. Now, I like this one. I've used the pink soap. I've used other brands of soap. I have even on occasion used dish soap. This is probably not good, the dish soap, unless in a pinch, because it can dry out your brushes. I would say that a lot of the brush soaps that are made for paintbrushes do have the conditioner in them, which is fantastic. And that way it preserves the natural hair if you're using natural hair brushes. So I kind of want to show you what I'm going to do without making too much of a fool of myself here. Is I'm going to get my brush wet and I'm going to take some of that brush soap out of there, and I'll turn that off so you guys can hear me. Now what I do is, and how I was taught, is to take the brush, and you're going to want to, you've got the lather, and I'm working that brush kind of on its side, and I'm working that soap up into the furrow of the brush. And this is how I clean my brushes. And it's a really good way, kind of with the palm of your hand, because the palm of your hand has some give. So, and it's just back and forth. I'm not, squishing the brush, if that's even a word, squishing. I'm making up words now. I'm not, taking the brush and angling it too hard. I'm trying to work the brush back and forth. And then I'll rinse it off. And I'll try to put some more, got some more lather there with soap on the brush. And sometimes I let the water run just a little bit. The other thing to think about that you don't want to do is you don't want to use incredibly hot water when you're cleaning your brushes. What can happen is this is glued up in here, so hot water will degrade the glue, and it could cause the bristles in the brush to come unstuck. So that you want to use kind of a mixture between hot and cold water when you're washing your brushes. So if you have a little patience, this brush is really dirty, but it's the same idea of working that soap up in there. And you can see that I know my brush is dirty because it changes color. And this one I don't treat very well because I prime with it. So I'm guilty of letting the primer sit in my brush after I'm done. I will say that when I was working with oil paints, I washed my brushes after every session. With acrylics, I don't. It might be just a bad habit on my part. I know that it's probably good to wash your brushes. You don't have to be this vigorous about it. You can just kind of rinse them out with a little bit of soap. And push that guy off. Now, he's still got a lot of paint stuck up in there, but if I keep going with this and I keep washing this out, then that paint should come out. I've restored this brush several times. With that being said, I just kind of, you know, I don't want to keep boring you guys with repeated washes of my brush. The other thing you can do when you wash your brushes with brush soap is to take just some conditioner, I use just hair conditioner, and after I've washed my brushes, I will put a little bit of my conditioner that I use on my hair, and I'll just put some of that conditioner into the tips of the brushes, and I'll let them sit for about 5 minutes. And now I know that the brush soap has conditioner in it usually, but this is just an added measure, and I find that it's very helpful, and it makes my brushes smooth, and it will give them a point again. So it's just that one extra step that I do with my brushes. With that being said, thank you guys so much for joining us for this little bonus video on washing your brushes. I hope it was helpful, and happy painting, guys!